today we are going to look at tarot cards, or oracle cards, any kinds of cards, when you have, it could be cards with words, with images, with things like that. And maybe in the coming days we're going to look a little bit at dowsing and different tools that we can use to tap into our own intuition. So before I start, as always, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge spirit, acknowledge wisdom keepers, guides. So just some just close your eyes, just taking a moment, tuning back into our own space of witness, finding our own center. Just taking a few long breaths with every inhalation. Just feeling that interconnectedness moving through your breath into your body. And as you breathe out, through you it is going back into this world with your own signature. Every in-breath bringing into you the signature of this universe. And as it moves out, it has a little bit of you in it, going to everyone else. Just acknowledging this web of intelligence within and without us, and taking a moment to really bowing down to this energetic presence within me, without me. All around me, above me, below me. And whenever you're ready, I'm going to invite you to slowly join back into this, with this knowing and this awareness. Because it is this awareness, this interconnected web of knowing, the all-intuitive, the all-knowing presence that floats, in which I am floating, which is all around me. I am swimming in this ocean of presence, right? That ocean of prana, that ocean of presence, the ocean of divinity, consciousness, whatever word you may use to call it. So when we do divination, we are actually, just like the word, no, divination, divine intervention, divine nation. I don't know, for a lack of better words. It's divining. Using that divinity, surrendering to that divinity, and let that divinity through you guide you, guide you into picking, into whatever is to happen, has happened, is happening, so that you can get out of the way, your mind can get out of the way, and this deep presence can show up through words, through imagery, through your hands flowing and picking up. So it is very important, before you do any divination practice, it is very important to tune back and surrender back, put the mind aside, the ego aside, and say that I trust this huge presence that is there all around me. And from that, I ask you to guide me, come through me. Let me be this instrument through which you come and you guide me. I think the first tarot deck that I ever got introduced to was the Osho deck, and just this concept that women can do this themselves was through my friend Ariel and my school, Institute of Transpersonal Psychology in California. And before that, I would connect divination to these women. In India we have these women with the parrot would pick a card, you would see them on the street, and it's fun. So if you think these are fun and you're just doing it randomly, that is what they will show up for you. So all my decks are on my altar. they are really sacred for me. They get the same intention and attention from me as spirit, right? So then they also start showing up for me like that. So I was just showing the different kinds of deck that I use. So one is the basic oracle deck, very simple oracle deck, which is this is very famous Doreen Virtue's goddess deck. And then I also have the Yogini oracle deck. Then I have the angel cards like these, which just have a word behind them. So, and then the goddess deck is about, like, these are oracle decks. So oracle is like how oracular, it's just speaking out a truth that is could be present right now, significant in your life. So this one Doreen definitely calls as the guidance. It's a goddess guidance card. So this has different goddesses from the entire world, right, from every culture. So this is Yamaya, she is a Yoruba goddess. Then you have Ichel, who is again a South American goddess. Then we have Kuan Yin, right, the Tibetan, Japanese, Chinese, all of them have goddess. So we have the high priestess, which is Dana. She is a European goddess. So there are all kinds of goddess. Artemis, Greek, and there is white Tara, green Tara, there is Lakshmi, there is Saraswati, there is Kali. So it has even the Indian goddesses in it. So each goddess, right, is an archetype, and it brings a specific energy onto this planet. So like if you look at Ichel, right, so this medicine woman. So oracle deck is something very simple. So you don't need to know anything. If you have an oracle deck, you just shuffle the deck anytime, go back into that space of the center, and you are seeking for some guidance. Maybe you are at a crossroads of your life. Maybe you are stuck with something, or maybe you're making a big decision and you know this decision, you have made the choice, but you want to know, is it am I doing the right thing? I need some guidance. You know, then when you keep saying, I need some sign, show me some sign. So oracle deck becomes that sign. Yeah, any oracle deck, you shuffle it, you say that this is, I am starting on something and this is what I've chosen. I really want you to show me what's your guidance for me, and you pick a card. And then you pick a card and you look at the card. So first you look at the images of the card, the words that are there on the card because every oracle deck comes with a book which goes into details of description. So I always encourage to look at what you got. Many times we get something and we don't like it, but I would always encourage you to going into that, like, I don't want this, looking at what is that? Why is that you don't want this? What happens when this shows up in your life every time? Is this how you show up? Then when you say you don't want something, even if it's a person or an event or an object or a situation that keeps showing up, how are you going to ever respond to that if you don't like it? So everything, you just need to take a moment to look at it, read it few times, paying attention to every word, the imagery, and seeing what is it, the question that you asked, and what is showing up for you. And sometimes you may just pick a card with no question. You wake up in the morning, you're ready to have the day, and you pick a card and see, and the card shows something really dramatic, and you need to take a pause and you need to see, what is this, right? So that's this card and the words. So I have this angel card, they're just words, very powerful words. Like you pick a card and it's, if you can see the word here, and the imagery, like this is humor. So there is a clown with balloons and so humor. So when it's a word and you're looking for guidance, you just sit with it and you say humor. What is my relationship with this word? How do I show up in humor? How do I bring humor into situation? So whenever you do oracle card, it's just like that. It's an oracular voice, right? You are using the oracle card just to draw a card and then sit with it. So that's an oracle card. So you can make oracle cards, so this is a whole deck of oracle cards that me and my sister, we took this size artist cards, took imageries and words and just kept creating, just making cards. So these were old business cards which I used, and I just sat with magazines. So my mom was also involved, and we just kept making. So like if you see, this card says behind the scenes. So these are different images. The images are separate and the words are separate. We put them together, and when somebody draws them, and it asks them behind the scenes. So if you ask a question and you get it, what's happening behind the scenes? And the interesting thing is, everyone interprets these cards differently, any card. And I always, even if I am facilitating or holding space for somebody to pick a card, I will never, as much as possible, interpret the card for them unless they feel stuck and they want guidance and they ask me, right? So you always ask the person. You can ask questions, you know, okay, what does this mean to you? Yeah, what is, what images, or is there something that you see here that is relevant to your life or the question that you asked? So you always, as a facilitator or as a divination person, it is your responsibility to ask those right questions. So even if you're divining for your own self, ask the right question. So that's about the oracle cards, right? So you can make your own oracle cards. You can even make angel cards, like just your own cards with words that you connect with, that mean a lot to you. Collect a set of 50-60 words and then put images on the other side and make your own cards. It's a beautiful exercise of that you can do with children, that you can do with teenagers, to make their own. They make their own deck of cards which they can draw in their own when they are ready. So usually when a girl enters into her first menarche, that is when she is initiated into this wisdom, and I'm sure that there must have been a time when every young girl got her own deck of cards which she could now use to divine, to pick. Anytime she has a rough day, she picks a card and she looks at it, and many times these cards, the more you start using them, the more you start trusting this universe, more you start connecting into your own rhythm and the rhythms of the seasons and the cycles around you, and you start relying on spirit for your navigation in the world, the more these cards really start speaking the truth. Every card mirrors our own state of mind. So whatever disconnect we have, they also show up in our cards. Whatever blind side we have, they also show up in our cards. So when a blind side shows up in a card, you really have, whether you like it or not, you have to hold space for it. And the more you acknowledge it, the more you say, okay, thank you for showing me this, the more it is able to tell the truth. When you keep saying, I don't want this, I don't like this, it will also only show you what you can handle. So I always wish that my ability, my comfort to handle big things in my life, to handle truth that even that I don't like, make it so huge that whenever I divine, whenever I sit down, that I am able to face my truth, and the truth can show itself up, whether I like it or not. So that's my contract with spirit. So that's about oracle cards. Oracle cards are really simple. There are so many different kinds of oracle cards out there. I would actually encourage you to get cards. For me, words are very important. I don't so much like cards which have words that reinforce the patriarchal narrative. Words like sin and that make somebody else responsible. So I like words which bring the responsibility, which support me, empower me to take responsibility for my life. That the cards that do not project. And I say this because there are cards out there who very much subscribe to the patriarchal narrative. So I would encourage you, because as witches, when women, I don't know how many of you know, but when women were burnt, so women who did these kind of work, who did a lot of divination, who connected, medicine women, healing women, who used herbs, who used spirit to guide them. They were directly connected to spirit, not to temples or churches or mosques in between, but their direct connection to spirit. When women were in that kind of power, and when established religion started showing up, they really had to disconnect women from this power, because if she has this power, she's going to give this power to her children, and her children are also going to have this direct connection to spirit. So anytime systems have to exist, they have to disconnect women from this power, from their own power, and that is how systems can exist. So there has been a lot of women, more than a million women, who were burnt during this particular time in Europe, across Europe, and I'm sure in almost all indigenous cultures, even today, these kind of things happen. So as women, we also carry our own fear and pain around going back to this, because I'm sure some memory of torment, pain, torture, death starts showing up for us. So we also have to hold space for that. So tarot is taking divination a step further. You can use a tarot deck just like a divination deck and just randomly pick any card, shuffle and keep the entire tarot deck together just like an oracle card. Every tarot deck comes with a book on it. So this is a card deck that I use. It is by Vicky Noble. It is and Karen Vogel, and it is called Karen Vogel, and this is the Mother Peace deck. So this deck is extremely precious for me because Vicky Noble is also one of my teachers. She was chairperson for my master's thesis. She's the author of the book Shakti Woman, the Double Goddess. There are many books that she has written, and she created these cards in the 1970s, 1980s, I think. So a tarot deck consists of 3 categories of cards: the major arcana cards, or the major karmic cards, the minor karmic cards, as I would like to call it, and the people's card, the people's or the relationship cards, right? So these are the 3 categories that exist in every tarot deck. So what is the major arcana card in a tarot deck? So I'm specifically using Mother Peace because every card and every imagery in this card is created by women through divination, through the process. So every art that you see, every image on a tarot deck is hand painted, drawn through, and it integrates wisdom from around the world. So I'll tell you later how you can get these cards and all that stuff, but let's go into knowing about the major arcana cards. So the major arcana of any tarot deck consists of 22 cards. It starts with this number 0 and goes all the way to number 21. So it actually traces the journey of a soul from the very beginning into human consciousness and the end getting enlightened. So as all the karmic patterns that a soul goes through, and at the end of each karmic pattern it starts another karmic pattern, and the whole idea of this journey of the soul is to break every pattern so that in the end it becomes consciousness again. So from the very beginning of its separation from consciousness as a baby, as an infant with this wonder, infinite potential, going through every aspect of life, journeying, growing, maturing, and as we mature, we also become present to a lot of stuff, shadows, conflicts, dramas in our life. So navigating all this drama and again coming to this realization that I am everything, right? So from a nobody, we move into the state of, from a somebody, you move into the state of nobody, right? You realize that I'm nothing. And from that state, you move into this journey of I am everything. So that journey is what the major arcana deck traces. So it begins with the Fool card, right? So the very first card is the Fool, which is 0. So just like the number 0, you could put number 0 to anything and increases its value. And if you take 1 from everything and it's 0 by itself, it's like the Fool. But without 0, the entire number system collapses. So the Fool card, I feel it is the most powerful card of the deck. So the major arcana card is, you cannot change this. If you pick a major arcana card, and usually how do you know it's a major arcana card is by all major arcana cards have the Roman numerals on top. So whenever you see a Roman numeral, you know that it's a major arcana card, right? And when they have these words, so this is a card called Devil. So there is Emperor, Empress, the Moon, Death, the High Priestess, the Hierophant, the Temperance, Judgment, Crone. So there are different cards. So there are 22 cards here, right? And whenever you get a major arcana card, whenever you pick a major arcana card, even in divination, say you are thinking about something and something is happening in your life, you're at a crossroads, and maybe you use the tarot deck as an oracle card and randomly pick a card from your entire deck. Though there are 3 categories, say you picked a major arcana card, you have to pause. It means something major. It means picking a major arcana card means some great karmic pattern in your life is showing up. There's a big force that is showing up, either for you to break this karmic pattern or to go deeper into this karmic pattern because you asked for it in some life. You wanted this karmic pattern, right? You wanted this and now it has showed up and you don't want it, right? It doesn't work like that. So every desire that we manifest, we have to fulfill the course of it for something else to show up. So whenever you get a major arcana card, you need to really look up, what does this mean to the question that I asked? Even if I did not ask a question and I randomly picked a card and a major arcana card shows up, you have to see what is my relationship with this card. And you can do that in tarot is either by looking at the image and seeing where are you in this image? Where am I located in this image? Which aspect of this image can I connect to? Are there people about this in my life? Is the conflict or the drama that I'm dealing with in my life, does it represent this? Does this represent me? In what way does it represent me? What is my resistance to this card? What is my pull or attraction to this card? And looking at all these narratives, and then you can look at what is the writing. You can even look at what number it is, where it is in the karmic pattern, what card went before it. So what pattern did you break and why has this shown up? And it is very powerful to see that when you start using tarot deck and when these cards, major karmic cards show up, it is very powerful to take a moment, yeah? And how you pick the card. So if you really want to understand tarot, if you pick the card, if you're looking at the card this way, upright, so so you can see the Roman numerals, you can really see the design. This is upright. And when you pick like this, it means it is the exact opposite, right? So when you pick it upside down, it's reversal of the thing. Like if it says death, right? And you pick it reverse, so it is exact opposite in the sense, either it is not really death, either you have averted it already, but some other new meaning is showing up, or the card could be to the right or to the left, right? When it is to the right, it is actually more positive. When it is to the left, it is actually, it's not at the center. So the right, I see it as more as the creative brain, the intuitive aspect, and the left is more the logic, right? So you can look at it that way. So there are different ways that you can look at the card, right? So that, and another important thing, when you pick a major arcana card like this one, that out of the 22 cards, one of the 22 cards show up, whether you like it or not, you cannot pick another sister card or a support card, because when the other categories of the People's card and the minor arcana card, if you pick something and you want to know more, you need more guidance, you're a little confused, you can pick a support card. But in a major arcana card, you do not pick a support card. In the sense, you have to experience it. Maybe if you have more questions, you can pick, but you cannot, no way, reduce the intensity of the major arcana card if you picked it, right? So that's the major arcana card. So the People's card consists of, so I'm using the mother piece, and the wordings might be different in different cards. So all these cards have based on the four elements: earth, water, fire, air. So from the grossest to the subtler, right? So the people and the minor arcana cards, actually even the major arcana, but we won't go into that right now. The peoples and the minor arcana cards, they all have the element written on it. So when you say cups, cups means water sign, right? Cups is water. Then we have disc. Disc means it's earth. Then we have swords, which is the mind or the air. And then we have the wand, which is fire sign, right? To make magic, you need fire. And those are the wordings used in Mother Peace. So the people's card are more about personality and how does that personality show up in a relationship, show up in events, show up in your interactions with things and objects. This shows you, right? So there are 16 people's card. Okay, 16 people card. 4 cards for each element. Like the cups or the water sign has 4 personalities. So the 4 personalities of the people deck are the daughter, the son, the priestess, and the shaman, right? So daughter means it's about this relationship of a family, right? The daughter directly connects to mother, father. So there is maybe a sister, a brother. So this narrative of being in this family narrative, right? In this material world narrative is the daughter narrative. And the spiritual narrative of a woman, which is not the daughter, is the priestess, the one who is in that spirit, yeah, who walks the path of the spirit, who has risen above the drama of the daughter or of the family dynamics. So that is the priestess, right? So that's the priestess. She works at a different plane, right? So even the daughter, there could be a daughter who is the matriarchal daughter or the patriarchal daughter, the father's daughter, the mother's daughter, the wounded daughter. For the male side, it is the masculine side, it is the son and the shaman, right? So the son is the material being in relationship, in family, and shaman is the one who is moving with the spirit, who's operating in a different plane. So now when I say the son and daughter, it does not really mean man or woman or a male or female. You could be a daughter, like you could be a woman born in a family, but the responsibility, the energetic presence that you have to embody in your life is that of a son, right? So for me, I connect a lot with the son. I was raised as the son and I have reclaimed back my daughter, the daughter in me, right? So being a daughter is very different. The energetic presence of a daughter and a son in the house is very different. So there's a son, the daughter, the shaman, and the priestess. So each of these 4 personalities are connected to the 4 elements. There is a son of cups, there's a son of discs, there's a son of air and of wands, and the son of swords. So what does that mean? Sword means the mind. So if there's too much mind, then there is too much judgment about everything. You're always in the head. So it's a very heady masculine space, right? Cups means water. So the emotion aspect. So you're more tuned into your emotions. So you navigate through the emotions. So emotions are very present. And then earth is more grounded in the body. So really bringing into this body, right? Really being in the body, the sense of things. You have a sense of things. And the hands-on, working through your hands. That's the discs. And then you have the fire or the wands. So the wands is about creativity, passion. So in every element, all the other element exists, right? For every card that you get, you look at the image first and see, how is this card connected to me, right? And then you can go and read what is written about the card and start seeing how does that connect to you. So those are the people's card, right? So the people's card consists of 4 personalities, and each personality connected to an element, right? Each personality ruled by a particular element brings a completely different energy, right? So sun is more of a masculine energy. So if you look at, this is sun of, let's start with Son of Swords. So Son of Swords, sword is again the mind. So if you look at this image, it is very much the image of the Emperor from the Major Arcana card, which is a very patriarchal sun, a patriarchal definition of the masculine who only operates from the head. So, and if you see, he has like killed a bird, holding a bird. So there's a lot of violence. The roses are on his feet. They are completely like squished. There is a whole box of treasure that he's so always on the hunt for treasure, conquering. So this image is actually inspired by Alexander the Great, who was the Son of Swords. The son of the mind narrative, went around capturing the world, also very wounded. There's a lot of wounds, a lot of pain. Also the son of the swords has. If you look at today in this world, all these allegations that are coming out, lot has to do with the Son of Swords. Then we have the Son of Cups. This is with a man, this is a very difficult state to embody and be many times in this world, in the patriarchal world. So you can look at this, there's this delicateness to it, there's music being played, is in the water, so very sensitive. There's a lot of sensitivity in this card. The Son of Cups is a masculine that is very much in touch with his heart, very much in touch with the feelings. There's a lot of vulnerability, sensitivity. So again, seeing how is that, do you let that aspect, if you pick that card, do you let that aspect of the masculine emerge for you, be present for you? And then you have the Son of Wands. So the Wands is again the creative, passionate. It's like a clown, the one, you know, the goofball, trying to make everybody happy, joyful, maybe sometimes always having a mask. But whenever this person shows up, you know, the entire room lights up. Everybody's happy, joyful. There's so much fire. There's so much creative energy flowing through the Son of Wands. And the Son of Wands is also always on a mask, right? So what is behind the Son of Wands? The Son of Wands could be worn by the Son of Sword all the time. So, you know, you want hiding something behind. So that narrative also exists. He's a son who loves the mother, who is playing, keeping everybody entertained. But what is really behind? And then comes the Son of Discs. Grounded, centered, focused energy of the Son of knows the goal, shoots the arrow towards the goal and knows where to go, right? That is the Son of Discs, very grounded, connected to the earth, connected to nature spirits, can talk to the trees, can listen to birds, you know. So there's this different kind of an intuitive sensibility to the Son of Discs. So these same aspects, when they become the shaman, so this is very much used. So the sun uses all these gifts. They're showing up in the world, right? And the shaman is in a different realm. Shaman operates at a different realm of existence. It's navigating the spirit. So all these 4 elements, how are they showing up in relationship to spirit? So that is what. So all these 4 personality decks are like that. And then you have the minor arcana cards. These are like day-to-day activities, what's happening, all the actions, everything that we do that consists of a day-to-day life, all the manifestations, the actions, the activities of our life. And there are, so these cards go from ace to 10, right? So there are 10 cards, right? 10 cards for every element. So there are 40 minor arcana cards. Every tarot deck consists of 78 cards, right? So every number has a connection to it. So we move from ace, which is beginning, birthing, to 10. 10 means transformation, right? So we go from Ace, twos, threes, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 cards. So the first three cards, the ace, the twos and the threes are connected to the cardinal signs. Yeah. And then we have 4, 5, 6, which are more the fixity signs. And then you have the 7, 8 and 9, right? Which is the mutability, in the sense change. They can bring change in your life. And then is a 10, the card 10, which is connected to transformation, right? It is this alchemizing from one moving into the other. And again, you're going back to ace, which is the birth, the cardinal signs, the beginning signs. So every number has a meaning. Like ace or 1 is the beginning. So it's also bringing you something. So gifts, it brings you gifts. And then you have the 2. So from 1 is always dangling. The 2 brings balance, right? So 2 is about balance. And then you have 3. 3 is synthesis. But to really bring stability, you need 4, right? So each deck of this card also has the elements. So like there could be gifts. So ace means gifts, right? The gifts. So what kind of gifts? So gift of the earth, gift of waters, gift of the mind or the air, and gift of fire or passion or creativity. So which gift is, when you pick that card, which gift is either you're resisting or is coming into your life or showing up for you? So those are the 3 categories in a tarot card, right? So you have the, so what all did we do? The major arcana cards. So you have 22 major arcana cards, you have 16 personality cards and 40 minor arcana cards. So now comes, how do you do divination with a tarot deck? So one divination is you just sort everything out, and then you pick a single card, and you see what shows up for you, and so you can have a question before, and you pick a card and see what shows up. And so for the minor arcana and the personality cards, if you get a card and you're confused, you're like, I don't understand what this means at all. Like, I cannot even connect this image with my life, and it is not giving me any idea. I need something more. So then you ask for a helper card. Then you pick another card as a helper. So you can pick at the most 2 helper cards, not more than that. Even you pick 2 cards and you're saying, I cannot see, then you need to start looking back and saying, what is this about my own life? Like I'm not able to see. So where is this disconnect in my own life showing up? Like, like I'm not present in my own life, or something about my own life. I'm just completely, I have a veil on my face. So it is, when such veils show up, it's good to ask people who are really close to you. Do you see something here that I'm not able to see? And really holding space for what shows up, because what shows up definitely will be something that you are not gonna like at all. That is why you didn't want to see it in the first place. So really holding space for it. How do you use tarot cards? You can use it just like a divination card, or there are so many ways. I would say just go to the internet, you can shuffle all the cards, and then there are 3-pack, there are 4 positions, 7 positions, 11 position cards, 13 position cards, and or you could just even do past, present, future, and pick 3 cards and arrange them and see what it is. I also do something that I learned from my teacher, from Vicky Noble, that I use a lot, where I keep all these decks. So I have one deck, so I have 2 Mother Peace deck. So one deck in which I keep all these 3 categories separate. So I have the major arcana card, the personality card, and the minor arcana card. And I have 3 questions. So the first question is, what is the big force that is active in my life right now? And then I pick from the major arcana card. And then the second question is, what is my relationship? How am I relating? Am I seeing this? How am I relating with this big force in my life? That's my second question. And I pick from the personality deck and seeing, how is it showing up? Is it upright? Is it reverse? Like it starts showing me like this energy is present in my life right now for me to break some karmic pattern, and am I journeying with it? And the third question is, where can I see this energy work? So where can I start doing the work? And that I pick from the action card, or the third card, which is the minor arcana. So that you can create your own set of questions, shuffle everything and use a card. You can mix cards. So usually what I do is, whenever I use my tarot, and when I finish divining with the tarot, I go back to an oracle card, like a guidance card, and I pick a card to see what is the guidance. So there are so many different ways that you can use divination in your life. Why do divination? You know, this question always comes. It's all like a big hoo ha ha. What is this freaky thing? Kind of, you know, people have these ideas of words that sometimes when they see women use, like, what is this? You don't need that. For me, having this tarot has been very powerful. Divination has been very powerful, because we women, we live and navigate in a very different plane of existence. That's what I feel. There's a deep sensibility, vulnerability. Of course, patriarchal narratives and deeply entrenched in the head and the mind narratives, and trying to live in this world like you know, a patriarchal man has also shifted women's narratives. But when you start awakening, when you start connecting back to your rhythm, when you start connecting and navigating your life through spirit, I feel like these divination cards become a mirror of where you are on this journey. They reflect back your own intuitive sense. Sometimes you know this is true, but the whole world is saying it's not true, and you pick this. You do 2-3 picks and you see everywhere, you know that you're walking the right path, you're on the right journey. There's a deep strengthening that starts happening, and I feel like we as women, as we are awakening and standing up, we really need to start using these tools for our own selves. We need to start sharing them with our girls, with our daughters and our sons. We need to have more men who can go back into this deep sensitivity and their vulnerability and start using these cards. Start using divination tools, not just cards. There's so many different tools of divination. Whatever is this that is being present to us, start using them. And the more you use them, yeah, the more you use them, the more it starts showing up for you. And each woman, each man is going to use divination in a very different way. So I would encourage you to bring your own spirit, your own presence, your own intuitive guidance into your divination, because it brings a very unique flavor to it. How do you get an oracle card? Nowadays everything is available on Amazon, so you can even buy these decks on Amazon. Mother Peace deck by Vicky Noble is actually available on Amazon. So when you buy the Mother Peace deck, I would also encourage you to buy this book. Yeah, this book is very powerful. The wisdom in this book is just phenomenal. You get to know about women's spirituality, women's rhythms, lunar rhythms, synchrony, connections, mythologies, archetypes. Just, it is so packed. So this book also will tell you very deeply about each card, each major arcana card, and what it really means. What are the different words and narratives and symbolisms of symbols, you know, the symbols. And these, when you start using this book and start reading this book, it also enhances your ability to create ritual. It also enhances your ability to create altars and sacred space for your own self and for people around you, for workshops, for your clients. So I would actually encourage everyone to get a Mother Peace deck and get a divination deck, or, you know, oracle deck you can make yourself as well. But there are some really beautiful oracle decks like this one. If minimum you can have one of each, I would say go for the Mother Peace and go for the Goddess Guidance cards. And then there are so many cards, and I always also feel that these decks, any divination deck, is a great way to connect with young people. or it's a great way to create community. So I always sometimes have these things that I do in my home, where I have my mom, my sister, my brother-in-law. We all come together. If I have guests coming, we use the cards, and I have a fun deck and a serious deck. So my serious deck is known to tell truth to your face, whether you like it or not. So I use it only with when there are people who are we all have this commitment that we are here to know and face our deepest truth. And then I have my fun deck, which are these small mini tarot cards, which I travel with, and they are fun cards. They will always show you the truth, but the level of truth will vary. So that's my intention and my intention with cards. So as a divination person, as a divinator, for a lack of better word, every tarot deck that I have a contract with that deck, an energetic contract with that deck, and we have this relationship, and I have that this I'm only using it here. So that I feel like my deck also knows. I feel everything has an energy, everything has intelligence, and everything is sacred. So it shows up in its sacredness and honors myself, because I honor it, right? I honor my deck, so my deck always honors me. So that's about tarot. So I would hope that you go and get your own tarot deck and a divination deck and play with it. Pick a card every day, start getting to know your deck. You can also clear your deck. So if you take somewhere where you really did not like the energy of the place and what happened there, and if your tarot deck starts behaving in a way that you're feeling like, okay, something is off with my deck, do a cleansing ritual. You can sage it, you can put it out during full moon, during a new moon, sage it, purify it, do a chant, play a chant, put it on your altar. So there are different ways that you can clear your deck. You can put crystals in your deck. So I have these small beautiful boxes in which my decks go very easily. So you can put some flowers in it, some energetic things like frankincense inside it. So you can carry your, so that your deck also smell nice, and they also have this beautiful energetic protection. So you can do that. So that is our today's call about divination, basic divination using tarot and oracle cards. Whenever you use any divination, you are entering into the realm of intuitive. It operates at a completely different plane. Your intellect can stay as the gatekeeper, but it does not have room inside. So when I first started my journey with tarot, it was like overwhelming. And the only way these cards started showing up for me and I started having a relationship with them is when I got my own deck and I started playing with them. Learn to start trusting your own intuition. Okay, start using your own deck for your own self. Every woman is a divinator. Every woman has in her the ability to divine herself and for her own family. The more a woman starts tuning into her inner navigation system, the more divination starts showing up for her. So this I have to say. So the more you live your life in contract with spirit guidance, the more these things will start showing up for us, right? So it is very important. So thank you so much, sisters, and maybe brothers will also watch it at some point of time. So thank you, everyone. Blessed be. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Thank you so much.